Hi, everybody, and welcome to CCS CAP Artist Shoutouts. So, this is a program where every Saturday on Facebook Live at 12 p.m., we feature one staff member to discuss their creative and professional practices, personal artwork, interest in teaching, favorite classes, advice for students, and more. Today, we are going to be featuring Rachel Washington. So, while I wait for her to come on, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Miss Rachel has been a teaching artist with CAP since 2013 and the graphic designer since 2016. She usually teaches classes such as Wearable Arts, Intro to Art and Design, graphic design without computers, as well as stars on our CAP at Home digital art making channel. Miss Rachel is from Detroit, Michigan, and has a degree in fashion design and graphic design from the Savannah College of Art. Now she is working as a fashion and graphic designer, primarily creating women's clothing and costumes, crafts, and digital art. The advice that Miss Rachel would give to artists following her in her footsteps would be to keep learning, because you'll never know everything, so keep learning from everyone and everywhere. So, now I think I see her on. I'm going to bring her on so we can have a short little interview, get to know Miss Rachel a little more.
All right, I'm on.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about all that technical difficulties there.
Yeah, we're gonna work it out. I think it was because I have the CAP page on my thing, so it had me on there as CAP, and I couldn't join because you're CAP. So okay, we got it. We got it.
We got it. We're there now.
All right.
Well,
But I
thank
did hear
you
your
for
intro.
coming on.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for coming on, taking time out of your Saturday to join us.
Thank you. No
So,
problem.
all right. So let's just ask a few questions so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better. So I kind of had mentioned that you have a degree in fashion design and graphic design. Would you want to tell us a little bit about the work that you make and your favorite thing to make, things like that?
Okay, well, I love both fashion and graphic design. I think I do graphic design more often just because that's what I do with CAP. So I kind of do it like on the daily basis, and then I help my friends with their businesses in whatever ways that I can. But I really like fashion design, and I'm moving more to upcycled clothing because I like to kind of use what I have because I have a bunch of stuff. I like to use what I have and repurpose it into new things because I think that's very important with, just the world now. We kind of live in a disposable society. So I'm trying to kind of fight that with my art. So,
That's awesome. That's also so relevant right now. Like I feel like
yeah.
it's a huge important thing going on. Upcycling is like the
Hmm.
new trend.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it's more than a trend and it's here to stay because we can't
Yeah.
keep doing this.
No, I know. Um, so and you had mentioned so you went to school for art, but were you trained somewhere else or how was your like upbringing brought you to being in art?
Well, I actually got started in graphic design because of an English project that I did, and my English teacher was really impressed with it. And she got me an internship with the Metro Times, which is a big weekly news periodical in Detroit. And then from there, I went on to Inside Out Literary Arts program. So it's a program that they do the literary portion where high school students, I think it's just high school students, write poetry, but they also have a program for graphic design where high school students also put books together of poetry. So I was learning and getting paid to learn how to do graphic design before I went to college. So of course I was like, well, I know a little bit of something, so I'll take this to college and see where it goes. And here
That's
I am.
awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. What a great opportunity that you had.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and so do you have something that really inspires you or influences your art or what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I really like to look at different books and learn about different cultures, especially African culture, because that's a part of my heritage. So looking at the way that different cultures use clothing to not only just, cover their bodies, but the clothes and the way they're made and even the colors have specific meanings. So that's really inspiring to me because I feel like some of that kind of gets lost in our like fast culture where it's just like, oh, I like these things, and it doesn't, we may not stop to think about why it makes us feel. And I feel like before things became so accessible, people used to be a little more thoughtful about the things that they do. So I like to learn about how to be thoughtful like that.
That's really, I think, really important because sometimes we don't, especially when we're in a very fast-paced society, we don't really think
Mm-hmm.
about things like that. So that's a really important aspect, and I love that you do that.
Thank you.
Um, so to talk about your teaching experience, so you've been with CAP for quite a few years, so since 2013.
Yep,
Um,
7 years. Wow.
I know you don't really think about it until you think
Right? You're
about
like,
the date.
oh,
You're like,
don't
oh
try to figure out how old I am.
That's yep, that's everyone's struggle.
Right?
Um, so what is the best part about teaching for you?
I really I love to learn. And initially when I came to CAP, this was it wasn't my first time interacting with students, but it was really my first time teaching where you kind of have paperwork and you have set goals that you need to meet and kind of prove. And I thought I was going to be like this fountain of knowledge and I was just going to shower my children with art knowledge and they would love me. But it was very different going into the classroom. So I like that it was a wake up call. And I feel like I learned so much from my students. So I love that I can create a safe space for students to interact with me the way that they need to, because I think we get a little bit of freedom with the after school portion of what we do, and that we don't have as many students as teachers who teach during the day have, and I can connect
Mhm.
with them. And I learned so much through those connections and just being able to create that space for students.
That's really awesome and so thoughtful. And you're right, we do have kind of a smaller group most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, so it definitely makes a difference when you're after school hanging out with kids. It's like
Yeah.
a whole different
I'm
ball
like,
game
10
when it's
kids,
after
I know
school.
your names. I know a little bit about your family. Like, it's really nice. So I think that's the best part, really.
And that's awesome. And so I'm gonna ask you one more thing, and it's what what would your advice be to artists or teachers or students following in your footsteps?
I would definitely say keep learning and never assume that you're the smartest person in the room, because I think that's what hinders a lot of artists, thinking that, oh, I know how to do this already. So there's nothing else I need to learn. Like, that's one thing that I really like to do. And sometimes I get a little stuck in it. I'm like on YouTube, like, oh my God, what are they doing? How are they doing it? And it's really, really fun to learn different ways of doing things. So if you just take a step back and remember that you had fun getting here, just think about how much more fun and how much more you can learn when you are open to accepting, I don't want to say criticisms, but just being open to learning more, just knowing that you don't know everything. That's really important.
Yeah, that's a great way to go through life because
Yeah,
every day I feel like I'm learning something new. So that's
definitely.
fantastic advice.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on and taking a few minutes out of your Saturday.
Thank you
Appreciate
for waiting on me.
No, I'm glad that we made it happen. Um, and so to anyone who's watching, please join us on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. for our Cap at Home to make some awesome art projects with Miss Rachel.
Hmm.
She's on every Tuesday. And stay tuned for our next Saturday when we do another Cap artist shout out where Miss Rachel will be interviewing someone.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you guys have any questions for Miss Rachel or any questions that you would like to ask our next staff member, please feel free to post them in the comments. We'd love to answer them. And thank you all for watching.
All right. Thank you. See you guys next week.